What is going on, everybody? It is me again. It's HorrorFan34, and welcome back to another video. And I figured I'd just do another random top 10 video for you guys. Hope you guys. I've seen your comments on my Blu-ray update in both parts. Hope you guys are enjoying the new background. And from what I've seen in the comments, people have seemed to really enjoy the background. You can see more of the posters behind me compared to when I was standing with the iPad camera and things like that. You couldn't really see these. You can kind of see them from the side, but this is more of a full background view. But I figured I'd do another top 10 for you guys. If you guys want to do a response to this, that'd be great as well. This was a really tough list for me to do because there's a lot of really good endings to movies, and there are some really bad ones, but these are my top 10 personal choices of my favorite movie endings of all time. And this can vary from a list of different genres. A lot of these are like action and horror flicks, so there's really like no comedy in this category. But I figured I'd just show you guys my top 10 favorite movie endings of all time. And for some of these, I'm not going to spoil the endings to these, but I'll give you like a little bit of an idea. But I wouldn't go too much into detail. But let's get on to the list. Number 10, Survive the Night. Pretty much the female version of Judgment Night. It says it there on the back. A femme version of Judgment Night. And that's pretty much what the film is. Three women are coming home from a Thanksgiving dinner with one of their family members, and one thing leads to another, and they are running out of gas, and they have to go into this gas station that's all closed off in a gang territory, and then they get chased, and the whole ending takes place in like this little, I guess like corner store. It's really hard to tell like what it is exactly, but they take refuge in there, and I'm not going to go into a whole lot what they do and things like that, and like there's a little twist in there. I'm not going to give that away, but it's a really good ending. It's a pretty damn good flick for a made-for-TV movie, especially like the final confrontation with the women and the rest of the members of the gang, because they get chased by a street gang in that. Number 9, Of Unknown Origin. Like I just said, I showed this in the Blu-ray update, but really good ending as well. Pretty much this scene on the back is the outfit that Peter Weller wears at the very end of the film when he's going after the rat. God, I hope I don't have to sneeze in this video because I feel a sneeze coming. So, but the basic idea is that Peter Weller is a guy who I believe works for he's like a Wall Street executive, and he's trying to do this work to get a promotion to make more money for his family. He has a wife and a son, and his wife is Shannon Tweed, way before she met Gene Simmons and all that stuff. And his wife and son go out of town for a vacation, and he's left by himself in his house. And he's like a guy who's very like protective of his home, doesn't really let people touch his things, and he's a like perfectionist. Little does he know there's a rat problem. There's this big rat that keeps messing with him, and it's like this whole obsession of him trying to catch the rat and things like that. And then comes to a whole point where he just doesn't give a damn anymore and just starts tearing his house apart with the rat. I'm not going to say what happens in the finale, but and the last line's pretty damn funny too. But it's a really good ending to an underrated gem of Unknown Origin. Number 8, Manhunter. Definitely one of my personal favorite flicks of all time. It's definitely my favorite Hannibal Lecter film. Way before Silence of the Lambs, there was Manhunter, which is based on the novel Red Dragon by Thomas Harris. And basically, this is basically Red Dragon done in the 80s, because it was 86. And of course they redid it in Red Dragon in 2002 with Edward Norton. But I like this cast better. I like William Peterson as Will Graham, Dennis Farina, Tom Noonan as the Tooth Fairy, who's the killer. You have Joan Allen as the blind lady. Brian Cox plays Hannibal Lecter. Stephen Lang is the reporter in this. One of the very first things Stephen Lang did, of course, he went on to be on a bunch of other stuff like Avatar, Don't Breathe as the blind guy. But the final confrontation between Will Graham and the Tooth Fairy, these two guys here, is great. Really great camera work by Michael Mann. And it's just a really great, satisfying ending. And William Peterson is so badass as Will Graham. Tom Noonan's crazy and really creepy as Francis Dollarhide. I mean, it's a great ending to a movie. Number 7, The Hills Have Eyes remake. Very, very entertaining ending to this movie, where it kind of becomes more of a revenge action movie, where basically, it kind of follows the same idea as the original. Although I was never really too much of a big of a fan of the original Hills Have Eyes by Wes Craven. I mean, I love Wes Craven. Love The Serpent and the Rainbow. That's my favorite. Love Shocker, Elm Street, Scream, People Under the Stairs, Deadly Friend, things like that. But I was never really much into like The Hills Have Eyes. But I think the remake is superior in my opinion. And I love the whole ending where the character of Doug, where his baby gets taken by the mutants, and they, by this point, they killed his wife and things like that, and he just goes on a rampage and starts beating all their asses up, and it's all gory and graphic and action packed, and it's such a great ending. And and this cast does a great job. I really like Aaron Stanford, who played Doug. Ted Levine and Kathleen Quinlan are the parents of the family. I think Alexander Aja did a good job directing this, and the whole mutant idea is really creepy, especially Pluto with the pickaxe. But definitely, I'd probably say my favorite horror remake of all time is probably The Hills Have Eyes. So 10, 9, 8, 7. Number 6, Uncommon Valor. This is one of those films that is so underrated. Has a great ending. It's heartwarming. It's got emotion to it. I'm not going to say what it is, but if you want to see like a film where it kind of dealt with going back to Vietnam and rescuing POWs and things like that, it's like one of the first films to do that. This is before Rambo 2 and the Missing in Action films. Great cast as well. Gene Hackman, Fred Ward, Reb Brown, a very young Patrick Swayze, may God rest his soul. Robert Stagg, the narrator from Unsolved Mysteries. Directed by Ted Kotcheff, who did First Blood, and Weekend at Bernie's did this film. But great movie. I'm not going to go into a whole lot with the endings themselves because I don't want to spoil them. Number 5 is Get Out. I knew I had to put this one on my list. I mean, everybody's seen Get Out. I don't need to explain what the ending is if you've seen the film already, and I'm sure a lot of people have by now. God, I hope the sneeze comes along soon. But I mean, what more can I say? Number 4, I'm going to hold this up for Die Hard with a Vengeance. Love the whole ending where John McClane shoots down the helicopter that Simon Gruber's riding in. He shoots like these 2 wires, and the wires get caught in the helicopter, and the helicopter explodes, and then you get that whole, yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. I mean, Die Hard with a Vengeance is great. Great ending as well. Such a badass ending. Number 3 is Judgment Night. It's my favorite film of all time. I love this movie a lot, and such a great ending too, where they in the swap meet area, and Dennis Leary is going after them, and you have a great final confrontation with Emilio Estevez and Dennis Leary up here. I mean, but it's such a great flick. If you have not seen Judgment Night, it's one of those hidden gems, in my opinion. I love this movie. Number 2, Frailty. I'd probably say my favorite twist in a movie of all time is in this movie. Frailty is such a criminally underrated gem of a movie. I've talked about this film before in the past. I did a review of this when I was doing an October review marathon and things like that. Really wish Bill Paxton would have gotten to direct more stuff. I probably say it's my favorite Matthew McConaughey performance, my favorite McConaughey film. Bill Paxton does a great job in it as well. Powers Booth is great in it too. I mean, I'm not going to spoil the twist, but if you've seen the film, you get the idea of how cool of a twist it is. But for people who have not seen Frailty, I'm not going to spoil the twist, but great movie. And of course, number one, my favorite movie ending of all time is from this movie. Cop. This easily had to have been my favorite movie ending of all time. The last shot of this film is absolutely satisfying. If you have not seen Cop, it's one of those top recommendations that I cannot recommend this film enough. It's my favorite James Woods film. I mean, James Woods is my favorite actor of all time. I love James Woods. Videodrome, Cop, of course. Vampires, John Carpenter's Vampires. The Hard Way. Cat's Eye and Smoker's Inc., his segment in Cat's Eye. I mean, Any Given Sunday, John Q. I mean, James Woods is great in everything. And he does a great job in this as Lloyd Hopkins, who's his cop, who's convinced there's a serial killer loose in Los Angeles, in Hollywood. And he's doing everything to pursuing the killer, but like the cops are saying, like, you know, you got to lay low on this. We got him, you know, and things like that. And it comes to a whole point where he comes into confrontation with the killer, and the final showdown between the two of them. I'm not going to say what happens, but if you, like I said, if you want to see the film and watch for the ending for yourself, definitely go check this film out. Or if you just want to type in Cop ending, you can see that if you want to as well. I mean, I can't if you want to do it that way, but great flick, Cop. And so there you have it. Those are my top 10 favorite movie endings of all time. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks a lot for watching, and I appreciate you guys watching. So have a good one.